Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Appreciate you jumping on. Hoping most of you had a nice long weekend. Today we're going to cover what Ripple is now seeing in the world of payments. How much did they go from handling? They started at 3% not long ago, but how much do they handle today of all the money out there? Stick around and find out. Also, Bank of America says they are ready to dive into crypto should we get legislation. Stick around for an interview with the CEO of Bank of America as well. But before we do that, let's jump into pricing. Nice to see Bitcoin back up here, sitting at 105,014, down slightly over the last 24 hours, but up almost 10% over the last 7 days. Ethereum sitting at 3,319, down just under 2% in the last 24 hours, but up 4% in the last 7 days. XRP at the number 3 spot, sitting at 317, down 4% in the last 24 hours, but up 21.52% in the last 7 days. Holding strong at over $3 now, here for a little bit. Tether lost its peg over the last 48 hours, ladies and gentlemen. If you have money in Tether, beware. Okay, that's all I'm saying is beware, do your research. It did come back up to $1, but it lost its peg in the last 48 hours. The last time we saw that happen to a stable coin, the following day, it went bye-bye. So just be wary of that. Number 5, Solana. Solana up to the number 5 spot. It was at number 7 at 244, down 4.83% in the last 24 hours, but up 30.83% in the last 7 days. So, will this little bit of an uptick continue now that the inauguration is over with? And will we see some laws or some executive orders get written here by President Trump around crypto? Stick to this channel to find out, and I'll be sure to update you. Let's dive into some news coming out of X. First, here we said about the Bank of America CEO doing an interview. I'm going to give that to you right away here up front. Tony Edwards retweeting this from Documenting Bitcoin. Tony Edwards says bullish. Documenting Bitcoin says Bank of America CEO says that the banking industry will adopt Bitcoin and crypto if regulation allows them. That's all we're waiting on, folks, is regulation. And a lot of people believe that is coming very shortly. Take a listen.
There's still 4,000 banks, so it's not like there's considering the disaggregation industry.
Let me ask you a separate question now, and Becky's got one back in Washington, but on crypto. We just had Brian Armstrong sitting in the seat that you were in, and obviously there's a lot of excitement about crypto. The banking business, for the most part, has stayed away from crypto. Given President Trump's full-throated support for crypto, do you imagine Bank of America is going to be full on in the crypto business if we have this conversation 12 months, 24 months from now?
I'd separate out this sort of crypto versus stable assets and digital movement of money, because we already move the vast majority of our money digitally. Our consumers do, our companies do. And so the question is, what's the business practice that you have to move another type of currency? So if the rules come in and make it a real thing that you can actually do business with, you will find that the banking system will come in hard on the transactional side of it, non-anonymous, transactional, verified, et cetera, because we have to, because it's just another way our customers are going to.
The other thing we were talking about was the possibility that Bitcoin and some of these cryptocurrencies actually are a threat to the U.S. dollar. Scott Bessent's talked about needing the U.S. dollar to be super powerful.
Yeah.
Is it a threat?
I think there's a whole bunch of dynamics about all the trade and all the consumption of the U.S. consumer and all the stuff that goes on, but I think we do need a strong U.S. dollar. We need a U.S. dollar to be reserve currency. It's good for our country. But what I'm saying is, if you go down the street here and you go in and buy lunch,
right,
if you can pay with Visa, MasterCard, a debit card, Apple Pay, et cetera, this will just be another form of payment in an instantaneous cash transfer. And so I think if it becomes regulatory okay, which it wasn't before, and that's one of the issues, you'll see the banking system enter with. We have hundreds of patents on blockchain already. We know how to enter the field. When you get to the investment side and the Bitcoin stuff, that's really a separate question. That's more on the investment side. From the transactional side, I think you'll see the banking industry make moves.
There you have it, straight from the mouth of the Bank of America CEO. Once it gets regulated, they are going to be in. And he's talking about payments already happening digitally with Apple Pay and all this other stuff. Still, people are going to go towards crypto, especially the younger generation, as it's faster, it's cheaper. Once it gets regulated, so that Bank of America is ready for that, and they will eventually move more towards crypto. Let me know in the comments. Do you think we'll see regulation this week? There was word that Trump might sign an executive order on day one. That did not happen, which disappointed a lot of people. But let me know what you think in the comments. Will it happen this week? I hope so. We'll see what happens. Coming in from Jake Claver here. Ripple's grip on global payments keeps getting stronger. Their tech now powers 100 plus banks and financial companies worldwide. In just a few months, Ripple went from handling 3% to 7.5% of all money moving between the US and Mexico. The future isn't about one blockchain, Jay Claver says. He says the future isn't about one blockchain ruling them all. Ripple sees a world where multiple chains and cryptos work together to make finance better for everyone, and the XRP ledger will be a major player. Ripple didn't try to boil the ocean. They picked one big problem in cross-border payments to start with, and they solved it really well. So remember, this 3 to 7.5% is between US and Mexico, but they have connections all throughout the world. You see here 100 plus banks, and they haven't even had to tell us what other partnerships they have. Those are sealed under NDA. But as soon as they get regulatory clarity, they will release those names. Hopefully we get that soon. So many expect XRP to be the base layer of the new financial system. We will see what happens. Smoke Dog coming in here, also commenting on Bank of America. He says Ripple has already confirmed they are working very closely with Bank of America. This is just one of the major bank partnerships contributing to Ripple's 90% global network coverage. Hear it from Marcus Treacher below. Remember what we just talked about. Ripple, that was between USA and Mexico, 3% to 75% of the money, but they do have 90% coverage, global network coverage. So just wait for that clarity to get here. Let's take a listen to this.
US major banks on Ripple, question here. We're working very closely with Bank of America Merrill Lynch. They are one of the 7 core banks which are helping us create our governance structure. So to complete this is Bank of America Merrill Lynch, CIBC Canada, Royal Bank of Canada, Bank of Tokyo Mitsubishi, which is the 4th largest bank in the world, Santander Group, number 19 worldwide, and Standard Chartered Group, and Westpac Australia. And we chose those banks to give us a good global spread around the world. So we have very good input from different markets and different thinking.
There you have it. Financial industry will jump into crypto payments if regulations allow, and we expect nothing less from President Trump. Let's move on here to digital asset investor. He says, with a video here of Mark Yusko, who remember previously really shit on Brad Garlinghouse and XRP. But now he's kind of singing a different tune. But you can tell in this video, let me know what you think of this video. It doesn't seem like he really wants to say this. He does not want to be positive on XRP and Ripple at all. He kind of digs on the company a little bit from my perspective. Listen, this guy's a Bitcoin maxi. I like him. But again, I don't understand why they feel the need, especially a guy in this position, so successful, starting Morgan Creek Digital, like be a Bitcoin maxi, but it doesn't mean other coins are not going to succeed. So digital assets investor says here, there's some talk. This will make the XRP people very happy. There is some talk that XRP could be utilized and or ordered to be used for a central bank digital currency or as the base layer for national banking. Let's take a listen to Mark Yusko. Let me know your thoughts in the comments too about how it just seems like he does not like talking positive about Ripple and XRP. Take a listen.
The one piece of legislation that is likely to happen, the other stuff, there's a lot of talk that they'll expand beyond just Bitcoin to now, XRP and Cardano and Hedera. And look, those founders have been buddying up to the administration and to Eric, and I think Eric's driving a lot of this, his son. So we'll see. But the case for the strategic Bitcoin reserve, because Bitcoin is digital gold, everything else has different roles. Something that could happen, I don't know if it'll happen the first 100 days, Abs, but there's some talk. This will make the XRP people really happy. There is some talk that XRP could be utilized and or ordered to be used for a central bank digital currency or as the base layer for national banking. I don't know if it'll happen or not, but that's one that if that does happen, that changes things. It's kind of like.
So there you go. Let me know your thoughts in the comments about that interview with Yusko. Again, I hold Bitcoin, I hold XRP. I hope they both do well. I think there's room for them both in the new financial system. But again, only time will tell. As far as a central bank digital currency, a CBDC, that's not for the United States. Trump has already said he will not approve a CBDC. That would be for other countries. So moving on to Austin King, who used to work at Ripple, who is now posting some great threads. He says Trump's inauguration raised over $200 million, breaking all prior records. Ripple donated 500% more than crypto industry peers like Coinbase and Kraken. As a former Ripple employee, here's my take on their strategy and how it will affect XRP. Let's take a dive after we listen to this brief interview by Brad Garlinghouse.
Other macro factors. I go back to kind of first principles around big picture. What do we need for this industry to thrive? We need regulatory clarity. We need lots of utility. We need to be solving problems at scale, not experiments, not possibilities. But look, I look at the excitement. Have you heard some of that on this stage in the past 2 days around tokenization? I look at, I just think if you zoom out and look at what do the next 5 or 10 years look like for this industry, I'm extremely optimistic. And I think people will be surprised. You know, there's a Silicon Valley expression that people often overestimate what's going to happen in 5 years, but underestimate what happens in 10. There are, kind of macro exponential forces that I think really will continue to catapult this industry.
There you go. Now let's take a dive into Austin's thoughts here on Trump's inauguration and how that impacts Ripple. He says Ripple is making one thing extremely clear. They strongly support Trump. However, their goal with cozying up to the Trump administration might not be what most people expect. What do they want? Ripple wants to be regulated. They've been asking for that for years. They got sued unjustly. They want to be regulated. They do everything the right way. They have actually requested this for many, many years, Austin King says. Why would they want that, though? To understand this fully, you need to understand the people who built Ripple. It all starts with the founder and current chairman, Chris Larsen. Why? Chris was innovating in finance long before Ripple. He founded eLoan in 1992, which eventually he took public. Then he built another massive scale fintech, Prosper, which facilitated over $250 million in loans. So why has he been calling for crypto regulations? Because the payments focus was just a bootstrapping phase. The real goal has always been to become the global settlement network for the trillions of dollars in traditional finance. Under Trump, this is now looking far more plausible. What could that mean for XRP? A lot. Banks and fintechs might purchase XRP to manage assets and transactions on the ledger. Other chains like Ethereum and Solana could be forced to reposition around XRP. The XRP ledger revenue model could expand over 400 times from the current payment focus. As an American crypto founder, I'm tracking updates on the regulatory front closely. I'll continue to share in-depth analysis on how updates under Trump might affect Ripple and the rest of the American crypto industry. Follow Austin King to get more takes you won't see in the news. So there you have it from Austin King. That's great stuff and good to hear from an insider. He obviously has some inside scoops there. Do me a favor, hit the like, subscribe. I appreciate you jumping on, and we will see you with more news on the flip side.